Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the IDIN webinar for direct banking. Just wait a minute that people can join. I see still people are joining us today. So we give it a minute. I say let's start. Good morning again. Welcome at IDIN live webinar, IDIN Simplify Your Workflow. Just a quick introduction of who we are. The picture is our head office in the Netherlands, the southern part of the Netherlands. We are many years located in our medieval castle. You know us all for Business Central, so we are calling ourselves these days the app specialist for Business Central, so because we have multiple apps for the Microsoft Dynamics platform. For today, I've got my colleague Andre. He's also joining the webinar already, and he will guide us through of course, the direct banking app. My name is Frans. I'm from the sales department. If you have any questions related to this webinar or to our product, please reach out to us. I will share the email address later on. But Andre will guide us through the newest version of direct banking. This is what we're doing in Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. We have 6 apps. On the right corner, our development apps, so Object Manager Advanced 365. Now, quite a lot of partners know it from the Object Manager in the NFV days, and we have it also available, all the tooling for Business Central on-prem. Yesterday, we had a successful webinar with the newest version of OMA 365. And Dino is a small app we have developed for mainly for end users to add through a wizard fields to every page. And one of the things here is that we have also integrated the payment part in the app, so the customer can pay directly for the usage of the app. Today, we talk about direct banking, so I will skip that one. That's one of our integrations apps. We have also, of course, Shipit 365. That is our shipping app. Main benefit of Shipit is that you can book your transport and print all your shipment labels and transport documentation direct in Business Central, fully integrated in your order flow or your logistic flow, and also integrated with third-party solutions like mobile NFV from Multisoft and the scan solution also from Tasked Factory Mobile WMS. So you also can book your transport and print your shipment labels direct on one of those mobile devices. Approval 365 is our integration for document approval. We have integrated solution with 2 providers, DocuSign, and recently we added also Signhost. So the main benefit here is that every document in Business Central, like for example a sales quote, you can send directly to your customer or business partner, and they can approve the document online through the signing process of DocuSign or Signhost, and then of course the signed documents going back to the customer or business partner, and of course back to Business Central or Azure Storage. So it automates the whole email flow to business partners for approvals. And the flagship of our integration is Connected 365. That's an integration studio. So with Connected 365, you can export data from Business Central to any other data source or to import from any data source or system application data to Business Central. And therefore, you have got a bunch of technology, interface technology available. You can do it on the old-fashioned way through an FTP server and a CSV file, but also we support Azure services, REST API, APIs, SOAP services, etc. So the whole interface technology is available in the app, and the big advantage is if you install Connected 365, you don't need to have any middleware. You can start from there to build the integrations by customizing the definitions, as we call them in Connected 365. For today, we have a little mix-up in my slide, I see. Some demo topics by Andre. So we start with the bank statements, import and reconciliation, the payment process, and in Business Central through direct banking. Of course, some questions. And before we end, I will say something about the integration we have with Cobase versus Ponto. There's a big difference between those two platforms, but I'll explain that later. And on the left, you see IBAN and VAT. That should not be there, but it's there. That's one of our new solutions called Verified 365. I will address it also later on. So please, Andre, take us to Business Central and show us the bank statement and reconciliation process, and of course the payment process in direct banking together with Business Central.
Yes, good morning, everybody. I will share my screen. Let's see. There we are. Yes. For me, in this demo, I want to explain a little bit about what direct banking can do for you and for your users. Slide a little bit away, and I want to start with the i.e. the account imports, reconciliations, and so on. In the old days, and still very common, is that the user is, let's say, exporting a file from the bank portal and import it in Business Central. That's something that direct banking will, let's say, do for you. So in the situation where we are now, this company, this environment, I have set up a connection with Ponto. And in that connection, I have two bank accounts shared and synchronized. It's, let's say, the same bank account, but only difference is that we have one in euros and one in US dollars. So that's just the two companies that we synchronize every day. And let's say this is just one-time setup that you do in Ponto. You synchronize, you are available, you do see the bank accounts available in Business Central, and you do the setup and you link it to the Business Central bank account itself. Be aware that you link to the correct currency in your Business Central company, and also if you have a bank account, the reference should also be correct one bank account number. Well, this is the initial setup for this. Again, the user has only one thing to do in the morning: the payment reconciliation journal. That's where, let's say, the import, the exports from the bank with normal account statement from Cobase or the Ponto real-time statement lines will be imported. We handle this with the job queue. So we have, let's say, in the direct banking account, we have two manual settings, actions, import actions, and create reconciliation lines. Normally, you will never use this. You just set up the job queue. The job queue will do the input transactions, and then when the transactions are imported, the create reconciliation lines will try to make the matching and create the journal. So in this scenario, in this setup, we now have a payment reconciliation journal for two bank accounts. So this should be basically the job for every user every morning. You just open the payment reconciliation lines, and if there are new statements from your portal, being Cobase, being Ponto, and maybe could explain a little bit the difference between Ponto and Cobase. If you have Ponto, you have, let's say, a real-time link. So if Ponto has synchronized with the bank, you can do this several times a day just to make a manual input with your bank account. With Cobase, Cobase is working with end-of-day statements, so they will, let's say, share a end-of-day statement if the bank is ready with the day closure. and that count file can be imported once a day, usually in the morning. But the function is open your payment reconciliation journal and you will have your new imported statement lines in Business Central. And with a little bit of luck, if you open the reconciliation journal, you will have a perfect match confidence with a lot of highs, and you don't have to do anything on matching, and everything should be there without any difference. But of course, that's not this theory, not the real life. In real life, you will have sometimes non-known customers that are paying, maybe a difference in amounts, maybe difference in document numbers that you have in your reference remittance information. So this can vary. What do we have for matching? The first one I want to show is the matching on high text, what you can do. So this is something that is basically in Business Central itself. Map text to account. You see, for instance, the word sweep over here, or the word, let's see, Dukimus over here. So we can set a part of the remittance informations like ATM machine numbers or whatever, interest of the bank and so on, and we just put this in the text to account mapping. If that's done, next time you do the reconciliation, it will search for the text account and it will just say, I see the word sweep, and I will put this on the GL account 0071. And that should be on also for instance, over here and here. And here is a word Dukimus, which did say, okay, I want to have that on 9416. So this is a text to account mapping that you can do. Makes it life very easy for, let's say, reconciliation, just mapping the text to account number, and you don't have to do it manually. Then next time you run your reconciliation journal, or you verify your reconciliation journal. Rest of you see a lot of highs. Well, a lot of highs is because of perfectly matching between a customer number, an IBAN number, for instance. Let's see, if I look at this one, we have some information about the numbers that you see. You have the IBAN number over here. We can also do the matching on the customer name. If the customer name is exactly the same in Business Central as in the counterpart information, we can also do a main name matching. So we do more than the standard matching procedure. So this is the European, of the Euro account. Let's open the other one. We see the US dollars account over here. Also a lot of highs. Again, the word sweep, we can do something with the word sweep. We did it on 0071. So we match, let's say, also in the US dollars against US dollars. And I want to highlight, let's see, this one. For instance, the payment has been applied for this one high. If I go to the manual application, you see it's high because it's 2.25, so the customer paid 2 times a open ledger entry for the customer. So this is, let's say, the possibility that we can also have it ready for multiple payments. So if the amount and the document numbers match, we can do, let's say, a perfect match on there. For instance, we have also here a none. And so if we go with this one and apply manually, I see that we have two open ledger entries, the €5 and 282. Sorry, we do find something on this customer, but a medium and a low. So important to know that we are not always matched because of certain criteria. So this is just not matched because we have a match on the amount, but we do not have a match on the both numbers. So we say, okay, there's something that you have to check manually. There's no matching on this one. Only the customers match. But we have, let's say, a little bit of a possibility to see what's going on the confidence over here. Another thing that I want to mention for this part, we have also the possibility to match on customer numbers. So if there's a customer number in the remittance information, and we have a setting for this, I just want to go over there. So we have the skip account number search. So it's something that you can put on enabled, so it will not search for account numbers. Also the skip counterpart references, if you have, for instance, a lot of customers in your database, and I'm talking about 50,000 to 100,000, and you do not store the IBAN number, this is something that you can just enable, and that will speed up the matching process for your reconciliation. And also, if this is done, you will not try to check on the customer number itself in the remittance information. So this one is just picked up with the remittance, and it's just saying, okay, we found this customer, so we think it's this customer. So you can just post it on this customer if the customer ledger entry is just not created or something like that. Yeah, and the rest you see, of course, is a high confidence on just matching on IBAN numbers, amount numbers that are correct, or just document numbers in a combination of amounts. Let's see. Yeah, that's basically the incoming process. So it's important just to know the user is not hassling with exports of files from the bank and importing this in a payment reconciliation journal. It's just ready to be checked and to be posted if everything is okay. The process itself on direct banking is, sorry, that's not correct. I have to go one step back to this one. The direct banking accounts itself, yeah, the synchronization will be, I guess, for the job queue once a day. The statements are ready and can be processed. It's not much to add on settings. It will do just the job as is. The only thing you have sometimes, if I go, and then I will do a small rerun on this one, so I can delete this one, and I will go back to my bank accounts. So normally this is the process of the bank. You will have your lines over here. The job queue will see those lines and will try to reconcile those lines automatically. You have sometimes banks have additional information stored, and sometimes banks have additional information which is just rubbish. There's a setting for you. You can use skip additional information. If you enable that one, we will not process anything into the reconciliation journal for this. yeah, more information about, let's say, what we see over here is in Cobase. So this is connection with Ponto, not with the Cobase, but we have some more reference that we can check if you have a connection with the Cobase environment. So that's the big difference between the two a little bit. So we for the Ponto connection, we are, let's say, working with the Ponto API, which has limited information, and if we have Cobase, we have more fields where we can do the reconciliation. So that's more or less about the account information. Then we have also the payment process, the payment initiation. Therefore, yeah, we need just some setups that we can, yeah, let's say, assign to a bank account that we use the export to Ponto or to Cobase. First of all, payments should be enabled in Ponto. That's something that you can see in your Ponto configuration of your, how do you call it, your setting of your banks. If you have your AI and your PI on yes, you will have the possibility to do the exports also through Ponto. And also important, if the bank is not allowing to do bulk payments, this will be false over here. And if it's allowed, it will be true. And if you want to use it, you say use bulk payment yes. And then you're basically ready to process bulk payments into your bank. Just one signed process for multiple vendors. The difference between Ponto and Cobase on that one is only one thing. If we do the export, if we use Ponto, we have signed from Business Central or signed from the payment providers portal. If you use Cobase, we just push it to Cobase and all the signing process will be done in the Cobase portal. So you are not directing from Ponto to your bank. Well, another thing that we have to do, of course, depending on the use of Cobase or Ponto itself, we have a bank account over here that should be set up for the exports. So if you use Cobase, you need more correct information over here. So how's your bank set up? All account holder names is important. General names are important. And the most important one, if you want to use our app and export it to your bank through Ponto or through Cobase, you need the direct banking export over here. So bear in mind, if you're using it, this setup should be there. And what else is needed? Not that much more. The only thing that is basically needed, if you go to the vendors, I just pick up a random vendor over here. Also interesting and important to know, let's see. Over here, preferred bank account. If you are paying through Ponto, it's important to have the IBAN available over here. If you're paying with Cobase and you have non-IBAN information, be aware that you have to also fill out all correct information in the account holder and the general information over here. and Swift and so on. So you need more information to work with non-IBAN payments with Cobase. Of course, also we are now just working with Ponto. This is IBAN SEPA and also in one currency in euros. In Cobase, you have the possibility to make, let's say, false batches that you have your euros and US dollars and so on. Basically, in one export file. I did want to show you one additional, it's not available right now, so I will skip. So the normal process is the payment journal itself. That's just basic Business Central. You do the suggest vendor payments, and everything which is due, this will be inserted in the payments. Payment journal for processing. So because we did the setup for let's say bulk payments, it will suggest due payments, and we can just do the export from here. The only thing that we is looking at is the bank account, and the bank account is looking to the import-export, which is set up, and the export will do the magic to just make the export work. Now, of course, we have more errors. I think I know what the error is. Of course, we need to do an export of today. Now we see that everything is exported, and depending on if you're using Cobase, of course, or Ponto. This is Ponto, and I did set up a process to make a bulk payment. So over here, it's unsigned. You see information about the vendors and the remittance of those vendors, and you can start the signing process over here, and this will connect you to Ponto, and Ponto will redirect you directly to the related bank. Yeah, I can do the assignment, but then I guess you will know. Maybe I can. I'll check a little bit if I can show it to you, but it's now not visible. This is visible. Well, I just will finish the process with the bank. It's not something that you can see right now. This is outside my scope of sharing. It's not that important. It's just signing process. So in the background, I did go through the signing process, and I'll go back a little bit. The payments, and you will see also that the signing is now accepted. What we can do at the moment that it's accepted, we can do the processing of the payment journal, because this is also ready for processing at that point. And basically, the next day, the bank statement is again through the job queue. I will do it manually right now. Processed in Business Central. So the statements are here. It will pick everything right now. So and we have an additional reconciliation journal available. And you see over here that we have an accepted one. And again, for the second vendor, also an accepted payment. So this is the complete process of payment initiation. Only important to know the difference between Cobase and Ponto. Ponto, IBAN, SEPA. Cobase, you can have IBAN, SEPA, but also the bank accounts all over the world with non-IBAN information. So for now, this is the end of my demo. I will give the word to Frans again.
Okay, thank you, Andre. Let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation. If any questions, you can drop them in the chat, in the Q&A. I just switch my screen quickly. We would come back on the Cobase versus Ponto differentiation, but Andre showed us today direct banking in the W1 environment, but we support more. It's also available in the Dutch localization, so the Bank Giro journal. And recently we updated our app. It's also available for Belgium, so it's also in the EB environment of Belgium localization. I also mentioned that we have something new coming up early next year. It's called Verified 365. And with this app, you can check real time on a customer card or vendor card their bank account via the key number and the Chamber of Commerce. There will be a validation to the correct data in your system. So that gives more security and quite easy to do. Just ask for an update and we will check the data. And that's provided by one of our partners called SurePay. They are leading in Europe for this kind of data. So they'll be available soon, early next year. And for our direct banking users, we have a special introduction discount. So if you're interested, please drop us an email at sales@ident.nl. I show the email address later. Andre talked about Ponto and Cobase. So direct banking is connected to two different platforms. On the left, Ponto. Sorry?
Not visible.
Not visible? Oh shit, it's not visible. Now it should be visible. Oh, I'm sorry. So just have the previous page quickly. This one, the Verified 365, and the previous slide, just to show you quickly. So it's available in W1, the NL Journal, Bank Giro, and EB from Belgium. Let's go quickly to the other slides. So Ponto is based on what we call PSD2 open banking. That's European legislation. So it's only taking care of European banks because they're addressing this legislation from Brussels. Ponto supports only European payments, so the payment must be from IBAN to IBAN. It's not really that Ponto is the bottleneck, but it's the banks. The banks accept only through this procedure an IBAN to IBAN payment. The payment authorization is quite similar as is today. So we send a payment from Business Central through Ponto directly to the bank. So no more files, but you need to authorize your payment as is with the bank. Ponto is quite easy to use. You can go to the Ponto website, create online an account, and then add all the bank accounts from your organizations or multi-companies into your Ponto account. It's all easy to do, but it's quite limited in the functionality if you compare it to Cobase later on. So it has some restrictions, but if you don't have any need for additional financial functionality, the Ponto solution is a quite good one. It's easy, it's cheap, and it works pretty good with a limited number of bank accounts, and if you have to do only payments in Europe. On the other side, we have a connection to Cobase, and Cobase is a more financial solution. So it can connect to all banks in the world. They have the infrastructure to connect to all the banks. They have quite a lot of connections available with the main European and US banks. The payment setup is very flexible. They support all kinds of payments, so national payments, European payments, international payments. There's basically no restriction there. But the payment authorization is really different. All the payments we send from Business Central are ending up in the Cobase portal, and the user can there authorize the payment in the portal, and Cobase would send the payment directly to the bank with a pre-mandated status. That means that the bank will execute directly the payment. So that means there is no more authorization process in the bank itself. That all goes through the Cobase portal. And of course, you can set it up quite flexible. User A is allowed to sign up to 100K, user B to 200K, A and B together to 500K. So all the set of authorization levels we can do are quite flexible. So there's no need anymore to have any bank credentials for payment authorization. It's all done directly in the Cobase account. So we see users here with quite a lot of bank accounts, international companies with companies spread through Europe or maybe other parts of the world, with quite a lot of banks they're doing business with. They all can be added to the Cobase portal and then managed through direct banking in Business Central. Cobase has also quite a lot of extra functionality available on the portals, such as cash management, cash pooling, liquidity forecasting, etc. It's not an online onboarding, it's really a project-based onboarding, because a lot of stuff has to be done on the Cobase side. And if you compare cost, Cobase versus Ponto, Ponto is quite low in cost. It costs you €4 per bank account per month, or from the 11th account, €2 per bank account per month. And Cobase starts at approximately €500 a month for the subscription. So it's a big difference, but depends a little bit on how the customers organize, what their needs are. So national customers are more on the Ponto side. Bigger international customers have quite a lot of advantage if they use the Cobase portal. From a direct banking perspective, so if you look at Business Central process, there's not a big difference for the user if you use Ponto or you're linked to the Cobase platform. So summarized, Ponto has some limitation, but mainly perfect for small and medium-sized companies. Cobase, basically no limitation, a lot of extra functionality available based on what the customers need. It's more for medium and large-sized companies, especially international companies. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat, and we try to answer them as good as possible. So I will check if there are any questions. I see one question from Johan. Available for multi-country database. Yes, that's correct. We have it available also for multiple environments. So if you want to double check, please reach out to us to sales@ident.nl, and we can check it for you. But we have a specific solution for direct bank for Belgium, for the Netherlands, and for Italy, and of course it's used in the W1 functionality. I'm not sure if there are more questions. If not, thank you for.
I do see one more.
Do you see one more question?
I do see one more for Guillaume Geheer. Can we use direct banking with bank account reconciliation instead of the payment reconciliation? Yes, you can. There is a setting for this in the direct banking setup where you can switch between the payment reconciliation journal and directly use the direct banking bank account reconciliations. So that's a setup that you can choose.
Very good, Johan. I know. So if there are no more questions, thanks for joining us today. And you make your phone out. Sorry. Thanks for joining us today. If any questions, please reach out to sales@idin.nl and we come back as soon as possible. One more thing, we have also some new videos ready. This will be launched soon through our new video channel via Vimeo. We keep you updated on that one. So there's also some videos to be shared with customers or prospects. Thanks again for joining us. Have a nice day and see you soon. Bye-bye.
idin. Simplify your workflow. Explore the perfect fit for your industry at idin.nl.